Hello, guys. So this is the pre-market analysis of 13th of April. Again, market is completely depending upon geopolitics. So we are going to get a gap down. So it's like, every weekend you have some developments and based on that, the market is reacting. So the question is, how deep will be the gap down? If it is moderate, like 100 points, 150 points, then we get an opportunity to take that trade. If it is beyond, 250 points, then we have to wait for a pullback to get into the trade. So we will look at the scenarios, what all scenarios and how we can trade today. But before that, let's try to understand the context, right? So the big shift, what happened in this weekend? There was a high level talk, right, in Islamabad between Iran and US. And it was led by JD Vance, and it lasted almost 20 hours. And there were initial reports that the agreements were reached, right? And the reality is that now there is no such agreement, and now that peace now changing into further war escalation. And there was official statement also from JD Vance. He have confirmed that there is no deal reached, and the US demands were like Iran must completely abandon the nuclear ambitions, give up completely their nuclear project, and also must have to allow the free global access to Strait of Hormuz. But Iran's response, they're not willing for either of them. So, of course, the negotiation failed and the talks failed. And then we have seen that Trump have taken again an aggressive stand, and he accused Iran. And the key accusations are like Iran is not opening up the Hormuz, which was a promise. And Iran is creating fear by saying that, they are using sea mines, under the sea, so that it's actually a threat. So, when the ship owners, they won't take such kind of risk when the mines are placed in the sea. It can blast anytime. And if that fear is there, now ships will eventually pass through. Howsoever, support or escort that US or any army is offering, whether their navy is there, still no ships are willing or courageous enough to pass through the Strait of Hormuz when this threat is there. And also Iran is charging illegal tolls according to, US. But for Iran, it is their, their area where completely they have under the control, under the international sea laws also. So for Iran, it is not illegal; it is legal. They are saying that we need to charge, and war have destroyed so much of things, and they have to get some financial backup from this. So that is the way they are justifying it. And Trump was calling this as illegal toll, and it's a world extortion. And then after that, some of the actions which has been announced is, US Navy. Now, if some ships are paying, right, tax to Iran, which is illegal toll, then US Navy will block those ships. So now see, the things are revolving around Strait of Hormuz. Initially, when the war started, the objective was entirely different. Now Trump want to open the Strait of Hormuz. Now everything is controlled and revolving around Strait of Hormuz. Iran have taken control. Iran have blocked it. Now US is trying to open it. It was initially very much open. There were no such tolls. Everyone is passing through the Strait of Hormuz easily. Now either Iran is blocking. Now, if Iran is allowing, Iran will allow only if they pay the toll. Now, if they pay the toll and come, then US will block you. So the scenarios again, you know, getting difficult. So ships that will be paying to Iran will not be allowed to pass through by US Navy. US Navy will be blocking them. If you are not paying, then you will not be allowed to pass through that, which is by Iran. So either you pay or you don't pay, you're not allowed to pass. If you don't pay, Iran will not allow you to pass. If you pay to Iran, then US will not allow you to pass. So, and US is also saying that they will remove all the sea mines which are placed, but it is an impossible task. Even those who place the mines, they themselves, it is very difficult to know, even though technology and everything is there. But still, even you're talking about radars or mine detecting this ultrasounds and everything, but still it is impossible for US to do that. There are military warning also. In case if Iran attack on any US ship, there will be a direct military action. So far also there were direct military action only. So the conclusion is now the situations have moved from peace to now escalation or negotiation to direct confrontation. And now if you look at last day, Friday, US market, there is no point in discussing now because things have changed during the weekend. When you look at the futures, it's almost trading 1 to 2% down. Most importantly, VIX have increased 4%, right? And it is now 22.5. But still, compared to what we have seen last week, 25, 31, it is still better, but still wicks have spiked. And the worst thing is that oil jumped 8 to 9%. Now the WTI crude is trading above the psychological level, which is 105. Brent crude 102. Normally Brent is higher, but now US crude is actually trading with slightly higher premium. So see, we have seen that oil was coming below 100, which was very good, but now oil coming above 100 and now crossing that 105 mark, which is a very strong negative trigger. And if you look at Gift Nifty was indicating almost 200-point gap down. 200 point is okay. Now, if you see the view of the day now, since this P stock has failed, there is no need to think about buying a call option. Rather, if they are bouncing, let them bounce. There is a possibility of bounce because DIA is anyway buying, right? So whenever you get such a bounce near to 20 MA, near to VWAP, that is an opportunity that you're getting to short the market and make some money during this period, right? As long as this P stock is not, working out, you can short the market whenever you get a bounce, 100-point bounce, sell the market, get 50 point, get out of it, another 150-point bounce, re-enter again, get some 50-40 points, get out of the market. This is what you can easily do. And if you wish to do this with us in the live market, get in touch with us. We have the live market mentoring program also. Now the situation have completely shifted, right? Hope of peace it was till last day. Now direct confrontation risk is there. So for us, what we need to do, we also have to shift our view. In fact, I always tell you that we need to be having both the views, bullish and bearish, so that we won't stuck in a trade, right? But now I'm talking about a bearish view because there is no point in looking for a bullish view. Sometimes bounce will come, but that bounce we can use as an opportunity to short the market. Normal scenarios, we will have both bullish and bearish view, and looking at the scenario, we will keep shifting the views also. But that's not the case today. Even if there is a bounce, there is a potential bounce because you are getting at a lower level. Institutions will enter, DIIs will enter, mutual funds will enter, LIC will enter, right? So because these are at very good valuation, so that entry may push the market up. That is your opportunity to sell because FIIs will, last day FIIs after 28 sessions of continuous selling, they bought, but they bought only for 670 crore. That too after almost continuous 28 sessions of selling. DII is also bought for 410 crore. So the key drivers today, this US blockade implementation, Iran's response to it, oil movement. So overall sentiment is negative. Now look at Strait of Hormuz. What is the scenario in Strait of Hormuz? If you want, already there is some mine threat, right? So ship owners won't be willing to pass through that, and insurance companies won't provide insurance for that. That's one of the biggest threat. Secondly, now if you are passing through Strait of Hormuz, you have to pay toll to Iran. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to pass through. So if ships want to pass through that, right, you will have to pay toll to Iran. Now, you pass through that by paying toll to Iran, then you will be blocked by the US Navy. This is a scenario. If you don't pay toll, either the mines will blast or Iran Navy will attack you, right? So you will not be able to pass. Now, if you pass through that, you have to pay toll. If that is done, then US will block you. So it's completely negative, right? So again, no, there is no discussion of open interest or technicals today. It's actually not required. But if you still want to, futures OI decreased 4.1%, and you can see the futures premium is also coming down very much. And I think we have 20 more days and still we have only 50-point premium in the futures. If you see options, if you see call additions at 5.2% and put additions 21.2. So the PCR have improved because of last day's move, and it's 1.09, which is slightly positive, but things have changed overnight. So there is no point in discussing that. PCR also. Looking at the participant positioning, clients, retailers for 14.1% bullish, FIIs 12.1% bearish, and prop traders are neutral. On the future side, retailers are 74% long, FIIs 78% short, prop traders are neutral, 50-50. So apart from that, we have this CPI data coming, and US Fed member speeches there. So all these things will be important, right? So there is no need to discuss the last day's price action. Good thing is that they closed about 24,000, but that anyway doesn't matter. It is now going to open around 23,800. So things will be entirely different. So I'm not looking into the technicalities of what happened last day. So if you look at options data, maximum call OI is now at 24,500, but it will be now shifted aggressively to 24,000. because 24,500, they have expanded the range because of the peace talk and the negotiations, but that range now will be further expanded, but will be on the downside, and this 24,500 will be pushed to 24,000, and 24,000 will be a bigger hurdle now to pass. And I won't be surprised even if it is coming to 23,800 also, and that can also act as a very good resistance if it is opening below 23,800. So rest of the open interest, there is no point in discussing because all these now will be shifted. 24,000 is a major resistance, 23,800 is a major support. Now put side 23,500 was there, but now I think that will be shifted to 23,200 to 23,000 level. So the range now going to be 23,000 to 24,000. Yesterday we were talking about before this issues 23,500 to 24,500, that now shifted to 500 point on the downside. Very clear, right? So that's the range that we are looking for. So the peace talk have failed. US now aggressively taking the military stance. Oil price have jumped. Market, we are expecting gap down and further down move also. If the gap down is moderate, we'll enter. If not, wait for a pullback, we'll enter. And any bounce as a selling opportunity. So that's about the session, guys. Thank you so much. If you would like to join the live market mentoring sessions, I'll share the details in the description. Check out that and contact us.